So here's the finished sculpted swim bait. It's a little over 4 inches, maybe 4¼ inches. It was done in this Sculpting clay. Once you're done sculpting it, you just bake it and it gets hard so you can paint it, sand it, drill it, all that fun stuff. This is actually probably 25-year-old clay, but it's still good, so that's what I did it in. It's not perfect, but I didn't want to get too crazy with the design until I figured out if all this is actually going to be worth it and if it's going to work or not. So that's where I'm at. Next thing I'm going to do is throw it in a toaster oven and bake it for 15 minutes and see how it comes out. Hopefully I don't ruin it after all that work. Close enough. Throw this in there for 15 minutes and see what happens.
Ding by the done, ding by the done.
So there it is. I'm just going to give it a quick sand to get any rough areas and maybe any of this dirty areas of the clay that's sticking out. And we're going to go from there. Start the mold. Here's the finished master after a little bit of sanding. It's still a little bit of rough, but I'm really not going to worry too much about it. I think a fish would still eat it if this actually works out. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to start making the mold box. And to do that, I am just going to put a couple of drops of super glue on this and glue it to a piece of cardboard. Gonna let that set up for a couple minutes and then make the rest of the box. For the rest of the box, I just cut out some L-shaped cardboard and I am just gonna hot glue them to the rest of this board, and that should hold them in place. So I just basically position them where I want them and run a bead of glue down the back side here that you can't see. Give that a second to set up. And I take my other L one. Turn this around. I know you can't see, but I need to be able to see. So that just gets held in place. And run a bead up this back side, down the bottom. Cardboard is probably not the best material to use for a mold box, but I've done it plenty of times and it's worked fine. Once the sides sit up, I just like to come back and fill in this little inside gap a little bit so the mold doesn't get in there. Mold material, I should say. Smooth that off. Yes, that's burning my finger right now, but you do what you got to do. But there we go. Simple mold box. Now I just got to calculate how much mold material I'm going to need. I'm just going to measure length times width times height and go to Google and let them do all the multiplications, and we'll start the mold. Alright, so after doing my rough dimensions, which were 6 by 1¾ inch by 1¼ inch, that roughly comes out to 13 1/8 cubed, which translates to 7¼ ounces. So normally I use smooth on stuff, but I found this amazing rubber mold at the local craft store because I'm impatient and didn't want to order anything. So this is going to be about 9 1/4 ounces. Once it's mixed up, I'm just going to do the whole thing in one shot. So I'm going to have plenty with a little waste, but no big deal. I got it 50% off, so it was like 12 bucks. Not a lot of money for a mold, but hopefully this works out. Not a bad test. We're going to mix this up and see what happens. Alright, I already mixed up my base and I sprayed my mold with this Smooth On Universal Mold Release. So only thing to do now is dump the catalyst in, mix it up, and pour this thing up. No going back now. Smells like alcohol. Okay, this is definitely different than the smooth on stuff I'm used to using. bubbles to the surface. I don't have a vacuum chamber, so breathe on them, pops them up. I'm also going to try to just paint some of this on so I don't have to worry too much about the bubbles. If I get a good coat on this to begin with, get it into those details. I've done this before and it works out pretty well most of the time. Just make sure it has a nice little thin coat and no bubbles anywhere. That should do that. All right. Now we're just going to pour this. Just want a nice smooth stream. Pour in one corner so it fills in everywhere. All right, don't have too much waste left in there. I'm actually going to use this. Just going to fill in this mold. This will be another video where I started doing a worm mold, but this one didn't really come out, so I'm going to fill it in, just see how the detail comes out on these anyway, though. Use up that extra. That'll be another video. As for this, I'm just going to let this sit. Hopefully all those bubbles rise to the surface and not on the surface of the master. Other than that, I'll be back in, I don't know, 8 hours or so, and we'll demold that. So here's the finished mold. I did end up putting this in a pressure chamber, seen here, just to hopefully pop the bubbles, and it kind of worked on the top. I don't know if it did anything inside because I couldn't really get the pressure up as high as I wanted to because I haven't used the thing in a while and it wouldn't seal correctly. But anyway, I'm going to demold this and see how it looks. Problem with using cardboard, it's a little porous, I think. All right, now I just got to see if I can get this out of there. Without destroying it. I would like to use this again if I could. I don't know if that tail's going to come out without breaking, but gentle. I don't want to screw the mold up either. Oh, oop, I gotta bleep that out. Oh, man, I'm wrecking it. Wrecking it. Clearly I didn't plan this out well. We can rebuild. We have the technology. Oh, almost got it. It's like pulling teeth. All right. Looks pretty good. Detail kind of came out. Just got to clean up the flashing and go from there. I also did these test pour on these worms. These came out pretty good. Could probably make worms out of silicone, man. They'd probably hold up really good. Also made another eyeball of mold. I don't know if this came out. I did it awful quick. It's just a little mold for making eyeballs. I fill this up with UV resin and stick it in the chamber and then paint the backs. Those are awful tiny, but they might work. I've done them before. All right, trim this up. I'm going to use one of these old school double edge razors. Okay, I'm not going to go too crazy yet. I'm going to pour one of these before I screw it up too bad and see how it comes out first. So, probably be doing that next, so we'll be back. Okay, we're going to try to pour some of these baits and see what happens. I was able to glue this back together. Might need a little filling, but I'll be able to make another mold out of that if these work out pretty well. So I got some dead-on plastic. I got a gallon of worm blend. I mean, I bought that to do worms, but it should be good enough to test these out anyway. Got some various colorings also from dead-on, and I got some hobby store glitter that hopefully should work. I don't have a spare microwave to try this in, so I am just going to try to do a couple of small batches in these tin things and heat them up on the grill. I mean, 25 years ago when I used to do these plastics, we used to just do them on saucepans on the kitchen stove, but I think the girlfriend would kill me if I tried to do that these days. So I'm going to try the grill and see what happens. So I'm going to get a batch going, and we'll be back to actually pour this. All right, I'm going to see if this works. I'm just heating this up on this little tail grater grill. Hopefully it works, but we'll find out. I don't think this is going to work, but we're going to add some silver glitter to it. Maybe a little black. Oh, yeah, I don't think this is hot enough. No, it's already clumping up. Alright, heated this up a little more on the grill in the bigger pan, and it seems to work. It's definitely at the 350 now, so I'm going to give this a pour and see what happens. Hopefully this mold holds up to the heat. Make sure I fill that tail up. It's not too bad. Alright, time to see if this thing worked out or not. Hopefully that tail comes out better than the master did. I don't know about the color, but the overall bait came out pretty good. I had a little shrinkage on the top. I didn't fill it enough, but there's hardly any of the big flake in there. I think it all sank to the bottom of the cup. It's kind of smoked. All right, I'm gonna throw it in the bath for a while. And let it cure. All right, time to go get a microwave. All right, I got me a microwave. I got me some swim bait blend, and we're gonna try this again. So here we go again. This time I'm gonna try doing some hot pink with some of this funky craft glitter again. I'm not going to bore you with the heating up process, but we'll come back once everything's good and I'm mixed up, and I'll start pouring another one. Alright, I'm going to give this another shot. We're at 370, so that's a little hotter than 350, but it should work. I'm going to add a little of this, just a few drops of this. I don't know how this stuff works yet. 3 drops. Got my little mixing stick here. I made this too, just out of a piece of aluminum. I like to make anything I can, no matter what it is. All right, we're gonna add a little more. See how much of a mess here I can make. See if you can see that. Do this on camera, it usually helps. Add some glitter. Not going to go too crazy the first time. Let's see what happens. I only got the one mold. I do got these other Reaper molds, but that's going to be a whole different video. Oops. Whoops. Might have to put that back in the microwave. Alright, we're going to see how that works. I don't know how long they let this cool, but I'll give it a few minutes and see what happens. Time to see if this thing came out. It's not too bad, a little darker than I was hoping for, but pretty good. Throw that in there for a bit and let's try to pour a couple more. Alright, so here we are. I poured a couple more off camera, just trying different techniques and different colors and such. I got some hot pink going on. This is a little bright, but I'm still working on the color aspect of things. I also tried to do some like blood lines with some purple in there. And I tried to do a laminate. I don't know how well that's going to hold up. It really didn't fuse at the top there, but I think overall it should stick together. Also got some ugly brown. That'll probably get remelted down. This one was supposed to be clear with just some blue glitter in it, but it's hobby store glitter, so it doesn't hold up to the high temp, so it bleeds. Same thing with this one. This was going to be clear with just some fine black glitter in it, but again it bled, and this is actually a worm blend. So it's a lot more flexible than the swimbait jerkbait blend. So that's about it. But I did rig one up to test. I'm not going to be able to actually fish with this just because it's so damn cold out. But I got about 10 seconds of video you can see of it in the water swimming. But other than that, that's going to be it for this video. I just want to say I appreciate you watching, and I will catch you on the next one.